Morning, me again. First of all, I have to show you how much these have grown. Do you remember I showed you a few weeks ago that one of our mummies had a litter of tiny little pink babies? Well, there they are. Not as big as a grown-up, but they're getting pretty big. I just thought you'd enjoy that. So because it's me, of course, I'm going to talk to you about rats. Now, this is a very important person. This is Badger, so called because when he was born he had black stripes around his eyes like a badger, which have faded now because he's a bit older. Badger is a rat that belongs to Joanna. Oh, hello, another one. And he came with 5 friends when he came to us as a rescue. It's a little bit of a pickle. And sadly, very sadly, 2 of those friends were poorly when they arrived, and within a matter of weeks they died. Now, when Badger first came to us, he was like this. He would come out, he'd walk around, he'd play, he'd be frisky. And sadly, when the other 2 died, he changed completely. He would go and climb into his hammock, and he would curl up and he would sleep. And if we tried to open the door to get him out, he wouldn't come out. And if you took him out and you took him somewhere else, he would just curl up and sleep, and all he did was sleep. And we were thinking, oh, well, that's a bit strange. I wonder what's the matter. And you know, the more and more I've thought about it, the more I think he's really struggling with sadness. He's feeling really sad because now that a certain amount of time has passed, it's been maybe 3 months since then, he started to wake up a bit more and come out a little bit more and play and interact a little bit more with the other rats. So that got me thinking. And I know some of you will be offended by this, but I think we're probably all a little bit more rat than we care to admit, really. So actually, during this time that we've been through in the last year, I'm wondering if sometimes you've been maybe a little bit sad. I know I have. Some days it's fine, everything's hunky. Other days I'm just a bit sad, and I don't necessarily really even know why. And it got me thinking about the Bible. And there's a verse in the Bible, it's John 11 verse 35, and it's the shortest verse in the whole Bible. It's only got 2 words in it, 2 words for a whole verse. And those words are, Jesus wept. Wept, that means crying if you don't know. Jesus wept. And it was when his friend died. He had a very close friend called Lazarus, and he died. And actually, in the next few verses, he brings Lazarus back to life. And being Jesus, I have no doubt he knew he was about to do that. So what a strange thing to do, to weep over the death of someone you know you're about to bring back to life. But what a really, truly human thing to do. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. And Jesus cries again later in the garden, and he prays to God, and he's worried, and we're going to be learning about that in the next, well, possibly today and next week as we look at the Easter story. Jesus was scared about what he had to do, and he was afraid, and at times Jesus was sad, and he cried. He actually cried. So I don't know if you also know, but in the books of Psalms, there's lots of Psalms, and a lot of them we think of as really happy, jolly, worshipful praise. But there are 8 Psalms all about lament. Now, lament is an odd word, isn't it? So I'll tell you what it means. I googled it. A passionate, so wholly 100% full-on expression of grief or sorrow. So you are totally and utterly absorbed by feeling sad. And they're in the Bible. 8 whole Psalms written about feeling really sad, and they're written to God from people. So I just think that's really interesting, because I think sometimes we feel like, well, we shouldn't be sad, or we should be able to deal with it. And, you know, we know the truths of the Bible. We know that God loves us. But, you know, Jesus was sad too. And people in the Bible were sad and expressing that. I don't know if you've watched the film Inside Out, but it's a brilliant film. And sadness is really important. And it is important that we express it when we're feeling it. And this last week, actually, something's helped me when I've been a bit sad. And it was a Bible verse. And it says, it's from Isaiah. And it says, "Do not be afraid, for I have redeemed you. I've called you by your name. You are mine." And that's been a really helpful truth for me to hold to when everything else just feels a bit scary. So redeemed is another big word. I googled it for you. It says to regain, so something you had before that you've lost, you regain it, regain possession of something in exchange for payment. So proper answer, what's the Sunday school answer? What did Jesus do to pay for regaining us? He died on the cross. Excellent. So we were lost to him, but he brought us back by dying on the cross, which we're looking at this week as we study the Easter story in the service. And that for me has just been really, really helpful, because I don't know about you, but I get anxious or sad or worried when I'm not in control of something. And as a child, I think it's helpful to know that mummy and daddy are generally in control of things, or at least your teachers at school are generally in control of things. Whereas actually at the moment they're not, let's be honest. Everybody's a little bit out of control in this situation, and it feels quite scary sometimes. So it's great that your teachers will definitely look after you, as will your parents, but they can't control the pandemic. So it's just been really, really helpful to me in this bit of crazy time to hold on to a truth that I don't need to be afraid, because Jesus has paid a price to buy me back. He knows my name. He's called me by my name. I am his. I belong to him. So I'm going to leave you with a little song that just shows you all those times when you feel a little bit worried or a little bit sad, not to be afraid, because you belong to Jesus, and ultimately that is the most important thing. And don't forget, you're a little bit more rat than you know. They experience the same emotions that we do. So that's okay, because God made them too, and they've been made with those emotions as well. So bye bye from Sandy. And bye bye from Smudge, who's fallen off.